Hello, and welcome to Most Significant Bit. I'm Patrick O'Rourke, and today I'm talking about how Pinecone could inspire a better way to detect wildfire risks. The idea sounds strange at first, but it actually is pretty simple. Pinecones react to moisture in the air. When the air is dry, many pinecones open. When the air becomes wet or humid, they close. They do this without electricity, a battery, or a motor. The material inside the pinecone scales react to moisture and causes them to bend. This connects to biomimicry, which means studying nature and using what we learn to solve human problems. Engineers do not have to copy nature exactly. Instead, they look at how something works and ask how the same idea could be used in a new design. A pinecone inspired wildlife sensor could use a material that bends or changes shape when the surrounding air becomes extremely dry. That moment could trigger a small switch to be measured by an electronic sensor. The device could also collect information about temperature, humidity, smoke, or gases in the air. One sensor would not be enough by itself. The better idea would be placing many small sensors through a forest. If several sensors in the same area showed very dry conditions or signs of smoke, the systems could send an early warning. This would not replace firefighters, cameras, or satellites. It would simply provide another source of information. This project also connects to the entrepreneurial mindset that mindset is about finding an opportunity, deciding whether it has value, and thinking about how it could actually be used. The opportunity is helping detect dangerous forest conditions earlier. The value is giving emergencies crew more time to investigate and respond before a fire becomes large. There are already companies using different types of wildfire technology. Dryad Networks uses ground sensors. Pano AI uses cameras and artificial intelligence. And all these examples show that no single method is perfect. A Pinecone inspired sensor could add more local information while using very little power. There are still several challenges. The sensors would need to survive rain, snow, heat, animals, and falling branches. They would also need to work in remote areas with weak cell service. Engineers would have to reduce false alarms caused by fog, dust, and other weather changes, so the cost might go up. Wildfires are already detected in several ways. Ground sensors can collect local information, camera systems can watch large areas for smoke, satellites can detect heat from above. Each method has strengths and weaknesses, so pinecone inspired sensors would probably work best as one part of a larger system. Making this podcast has also helped me see how STEAM connects to engineering. The science and technology helps me understand the idea, but the arts helped me explain it. I had to organize the information, write it in a way that sounds natural, choose music, and create smooth transition. A good engineering idea is not very useful if nobody can understand it. And it's something I've used quite a bit at work, especially with presenting and some of my PowerPoints. The main lessons I've learned is that nature can give engineers a strong starting point, but it does not give us a finished product. A Pineco shows how material can respond to moisture without power. Engineers would also still need to design the sensors, test it, connect it to a network, and make sure it is affordable and reliable. A Pineco by itself will not stop a wildfire. However, the way it reacts to the environment could inspire a low power sensor that helps people detect danger sooner. Sometimes a simple object in nature can lead to useful engineering idea. And one reason this topic stood out to me is because my experience working at Star Plus Energy in manufacturing, engineers are always looking for ways to use sensors and automate to catch problems earlier instead of waiting until something fails. I mean, something I'm doing a lot at work is using DACs with vacuum pressure when it comes to our picket places. And the pinecone inspired wildlife sensors follows kind of the same idea when it comes to using a sensor to better automate things or to at least collect data. Because even with trying to up the vacuum pressures, we're using the DAC to collect the data. So at the end of the day, everything goes back to how to nature and how we can identify changing conditions before they become dangerous. It was really cool to see.